Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Amicus Next Free Training Thursdays webinar. My name is Chris Tover, and the title for today's webinar, Amicus Attorney Ask Us Anything. Before we get started, however, I just want to quickly go over one quick point. This session is different from our typical webinars, where we have a topic and we go through that together. Today's webinar is all about questions, and to submit these questions to me, you'll use the questions tab located in the GoToWebinar panel. We will, of course, try to answer all of these questions as they come through during the session or point you to the applicable resources for more information. However, if we run out of time and we're unable to answer any of those questions, we will get to those via email after today's session. So with that, let's get started. And yeah, of course, please go ahead and start putting those questions in. I do see already a couple that are in there, and we will go through these one by one. You should, of course, be able to see my copy of Amicus Attorney on screen. Today, we are working in Bobby Donnell's training office. So Bobby is a fictional law practitioner. Just a quick note in case you're wondering why my screen might look slightly different from yours. Bobby is an Amicus administrator. So if you are not an Amicus administrator, you will not have these options over here in the left-hand side in the administration. And as well, Bobby is using Amicus Billing. So if your firm is not subscribing to Amicus Billing, you will not have that tab at the top here. Otherwise, your screen should look fairly similar to mine. So as I said, we have a couple of questions already. We'll start with Jeff's question, how do I turn off autocomplete? This is a frequently asked question. For those of you that are maybe not familiar, you'll find that when you're typing in Amicus really any text field and you type in something like AD space, Amicus will automatically change that to attend discovery, for example. Some users find this, and most of our users find this quite convenient. However, obviously we recognize that not everyone is as enamored with this feature. To turn it off, it's very easy. You're going into your preferences, so each of your users can toggle autocomplete on and off. It is not a firm setting, so each user can decide whether or not they want to use it, and that's found in your preferences in spell check. So it is a little bit hidden. If we go to spell check, you'll notice that we have the option to disable auto text. We can also view our auto text entries, which means that if I type BW space, for example, in Amicus Attorney, that is going to change automatically to brief witness. And you can see Amicus comes with a number of auto text entries already, but you can go ahead and add to this list if you wish. So for example, if I found myself typing the same thing over and over again, I can go ahead and add this as an auto text entry. And now anytime in Amicus Attorney, if I do type capital, and it is case sensitive, capital TTT space, Amicus will automatically change that to how are you today? So a great way to speed up your working in Amicus Attorney, and as well potentially cut down on the number of typos. Or as we saw, you can simply turn that off. Great question. Next question comes to us from Veronica. How is the best way to use the calendar so we don't miss appointments and to book an appointment for another coworker? Absolutely. So in Amicus Attorney, calendars behave much the same way that a calendar in any other application would work. For example, Outlook. You do, of course, have the opportunity or ability to view the calendar of other people. So on the top left-hand corner here, you can see I have my work group. So I can easily bring up the calendars, not just for myself, but also for Shirley and Jack. And from here, I can, of course, schedule appointments on my calendar simply by dragging or drawing on the calendar itself. So let's say we have an appointment for 4 o'clock. I'm drawing it on my own calendar. If I do so, Amicus will bring that up. I can, of course, it gives it a generic appointment title, but I can add detail. And of course, from here, I'm able to invite or include other firm members. By default, Amicus will go to my work group. Again, my work group is myself, Jack, and Shirley, but I can bring up all firm members to pick from all of my colleagues here. And we'll just add, well, not myself, of course, I'm already on there. We'll add these folks, click OK. And of course, this appointment will automatically be added to my own calendar, as you can see there. This calendar appointment is also going to be added to the calendars of those other two colleagues that we saw that we added. A pop-up notification will be sent to them to ensure that they are aware that they have been included in this appointment. And as well, there is, of course, the option to set reminders. By default, again, that's already taken care of. Unless you turn it off, of course. You can remind the author 10 minutes beforehand. The other option, of course, is to remind firm members. And that way, everyone that is included in this appointment, and we'll just go back here, so that will include myself, Heather, and Eleanor, will receive a pop-up notification as well as a verbal alert to let them know that their appointment is starting in 10 minutes. So that's really the primary means of ensuring that all of your colleagues that have been included in appointments are aware that they are going to be attending this appointment. By default, as we saw, Amicus will send them a notification to say that they've been included in this appointment, but it does not necessarily remind them ahead of time. You would have to set that up either on an appointment by appointment basis, or you can default these settings in your preferences. Excellent. The next question, is there a way to add a couple of people to a group? Yes, absolutely. So this is in our people module, right? So those of you that are using Amicus, of course, will know that your people module is where you manage all of your people. And this does not necessarily mean only your clients, although of course your clients are considered people. But it also is where you'll manage all of your contacts. And that can include other people such as landlords, plaintiffs, witnesses, judges, vendors, really anyone that your firm has any dealing with. The primary means of managing those people are with people groups. My fictional law firm only has 87 contacts. Your firm will undoubtedly have hundreds and more than likely thousands of people in your database. And as I said, the primary means of managing those people is making use of people groups. So you can see we do have a column here, right? All of your people can be added to multiple groups. They don't necessarily have to be in just the one group. Jason B. Adderley, the first person on our list here, is in the clients group only. However, the next person on the list, Philip J. Agrarian, is in the lawyers, bankers, as well as opposing counsel group. So you can have people in multiple groups and thereby filter by those groups. So you can say, okay, Amicus, show me only those people that are in, for example, the judges group, and Amicus will drill down to just those people. Now you can add people to groups on a one-off basis by simply opening up the contact and adding them to groups. However, from the question, we want to add multiple people to a single group. To do so, you can select any number of those people in your Amicus people module. So basically holding down the control key as I'm doing will allow me to select any number of people here. I'm just grabbing people at random, right click, change group membership. We are going to be adding them to a group or groups. And in this case, we're going to click on the little icon here, and in Amicus Attorney, this icon with the two silhouettes is for our groups. We're going to select or click on that icon, select insurers, for example. Right? We may wish to create a new group called Christmas card list or a new group called VIP clients, what have you. These are just the groups that I have available. Right? But your Amicus administrator is able to create any number of additional groups, add them to insurers, and we can actually add groups of people to multiple groups at once, right? Or just one. Click OK, click OK, and those people have now been successfully added to those groups. Excellent. The next question revolves around queries to pull up information that we need and get customized reports. Customized reports, that is certainly a feature in Amicus, or a feature rather that Abacus Next offers. Within Amicus, of course, you'll have two sets of reports at minimum available to you. You have your reports, and this will generate reports just for this user. So in this case, Bobby Donald could run reports on his appointments. He could run reports on his contacts, his time entries, etc. The Amicus Attorney Firm Administrator does also have access to the firm reports. Right? So at any time, if you are not an Amicus administrator and you wonder what other reporting is offered, you'd have to ask one of your Amicus administrators to give you a quick tour on what is available. If there is a need for a report that does not or is not currently met in Amicus Attorney, we do offer custom reporting that will suit your specific needs. That is a paid service, and we do recommend that you get in touch with your Abacus Next sales executive to just discuss scoping as well as pricing. The next question is around font size, and this is something that I myself struggle with. If you have a rather large monitor, or like me, are a little hard of seeing, you'll probably find yourself squinting at your screen quite a bit in Amicus Attorney. There are really two ways to mitigate this. The first option is to go to your preferences. And in preferences under defaults on login, it is a little bit hidden. You'll find the option to turn on screen optimization. What this essentially does is it bumps text up slightly larger on your screen within Amicus Attorney. So this is only for Amicus Attorney, thereby making it hopefully a little bit easier to read. That is your primary means of trying to mitigate small text size. The other option is, of course, if you wanted to, you would have to bump up that screen resolution, or lower the screen resolution rather, in your Windows display settings. The next question, when will Amicus be able to sync both ways for calendar and Office 365? That is a great question, William. I'm a little bit confused in the sense that we do currently offer that level of integration. If you do have any issues with that, you can always give technical support a call and they'll be able to assist you with that. But currently there is support for Office 365. What is the most efficient way to let clients know that something is posted in their portals? That is a great question. For those of you that are maybe not familiar with the Amicus client portal, it basically allows you to share information with your clients in a secure web portal environment. Currently, there is no option to automate a notification to your clients to let them know that new resources or information has been shared with them via the client portal. However, when they do log into the client portal, and I do apologize, I don't have credentials for the client portal with me at the moment. Otherwise, I would show you. When they log into the client portal, it will let them know if there have been any new items added to the client portal since their last login. That is currently the only option for clients. If you are looking for information for yourselves, of course, if I go into the file that we are working on with the client via the client portal and go down to admin, I do have the option, if that particular file is currently shared in the portal, to choose whether or not I receive email alerts letting me know that the client has shared something with me via the client portal. But as I said, unfortunately, when we're talking about client notifications, currently the only option in place is that they would have to log in ideally on a daily basis to see if there have been any new updates. But I will certainly pass that question along to our developers in the form of a suggestion for a later release. A follow-up question on the client portal and document management. So there is, of course, the option to share documents with clients via the client portal. Occasionally, you will get error prompts telling you that when you're attempting to share client portal, a file rather, via the client portal, Amicus will give you a warning or an error message regarding documents. The reason for that is that Amicus is having a hard time trying to figure out where your default directory that you're storing all of the documents that will be available via the client portal are located. To mitigate or resolve that error or problem, you would have to go to, within the file in question, go to Documents. And of course, I'm using Amicus Manage, so it's not here. Give me one moment here. Let me quickly just fix that. And we'll go back to, you wouldn't have this problem if you were using Amicus Manage Document Management, but I'm going to flip it back to User Managed here. Just give me one moment. And let's return to the file, and I'll have to close and reopen it. What we need to ensure is in the documents, we need to ensure that the default file path down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the file is accurate, and that all documents that you are planning or attempting to share with the client must be in this folder and this folder only. If you have any issues with that, Randy, certainly give us a call. Again, our technical support team is, of course, here to assist, and they should be able to help you out with that. The next question revolves around stickies. The stickies, again, for maybe those of you that are not as familiar with it, are basically pop-up notifications within Amicus Attorney that you can send. It's almost like an instant message or an electronic post-it note that you can send to other colleagues that are using Amicus Attorney. Those stickies, even if you're not logged into the system, will wait for you until you log in, and then those stickies will be there. Occasionally, of course, we close a sticky without meaning to, or crashes or any unexpected events such as that. To retrieve your stickies, basically, you would go over to Notes in your navigation panel here on the left-hand side, and you would go to Today. And it's a little bit hidden, so maybe not everyone is familiar with that. If you go into Today, you'll see all of the stickies that you will have received today. And that would be your primary means of retrieving or finding those stickies again. How do I turn off a favorite? Favorites, you can make a number of different items within Amicus a favorite simply by right-clicking a file, for example. I'm able to add to favorites. So I just made blank vbiddle a favorite. To turn off or remove something from your favorites, you would basically go into the, oops, sorry, a little ahead of myself here, go into the favorites module, right-click, and select remove. Right? People are naturally a little bit wary of clicking or selecting remove because there might be kind of a concern that things are going to be deleted. Nothing is going to be deleted. It's just going to be removed from that particular favorites list. The next question, what is a security profile? That's an excellent question. Security profiles are only available to Amicus administrators, so you do need to be an Amicus administrator to either edit or apply a security profile. Security profiles allow you a little bit more flexibility in terms of what a user can or cannot do within Amicus Attorney. So we're already familiar with the differentiation between an Amicus administrator, so somebody that has full access to the application and is able to affect change on a firm or global side. And then, of course, you have your users, the people working within Amicus Attorney. In addition to that, a firm administrator can really either grant additional access or restrict access to the application based on a security profile. Those security profiles, as we saw, are available here under administration in your navigation panel. And from here, you can view a number of profiles that come with Amicus Attorney. Partner is the highest level and student is the lowest level. And basically you can dictate what that particular user or a user that's been assigned to that security profile is able to view or do within Amicus Attorney. So currently we're looking at the student profile, and if I go to, let's say, people and action here, in this case, a student is able to create a new profile or a new contact. They're able to open those contacts, of course, and edit that information, but they are not able to delete that contact. So again, you use security profiles to add additional functionality or restrict functionalities to certain users that you have assigned to that profile. Assigning a profile is pretty straightforward. You just go to the selected profile, and at the bottom here, the little blue icon is kind of our universal icon for people. Click on that, and I can easily add Shirley Schmidt to the student profile. If I click, rather leave this page and that setting is automatically saved, the next time Shirley attempts to delete a contact, she will be told that she does not have the ability to do so. Next question, one that I skipped by accident, I apologize for that. How do we add a new person to our firm members list? And then in my work group. So first I'll cover work groups, so we'll see if that, Veronica, answers your question. If I go to my preferences and then work group, this is where I can add people to my work group. Your work group is your own, which means if I add people to my work group, that is not going to add me to their work group. Each person is in full control over their work group. Your work group are really those people that you work with most frequently in Amicus Attorney. So be it people that you're frequently adding to appointments, be it people that you're frequently sending stickies to, adding them to your work group just basically streamlines that, and rather than always having to choose from this longer or larger list of all of our firm members, right, we can go ahead and simply select from our work group. But at any point, we can bring up the larger list, and then if we need to, add additional people to whatever it is that we're attempting to do. If you're looking to add a firm member to Amicus Attorney, that is done by your Amicus administrator under user management, and this would be a new user for which you would have a license. But adding users to Amicus Attorney is very straightforward. Simply within the user management view, we click on new, put in the new employee's information, and then they would be good to go. They'd be able to log into Amicus Attorney. Our next question is from Adriana. How do I make a document template? Adriana, I assume by document template, we're speaking of Amicus's document assembly, where you can basically automate your document production. That is unfortunately not something that we can look at in today's webinar. It's the reason being is we generally spend at least an hour doing that in our training sessions. So unfortunately, we can't address that right now. But I certainly do encourage you, and I'll show you at the end, to schedule some training for you and your team, and we can definitely assist you with that. Can the client reports, conflict reports be sorted? That's an excellent question. Unfortunately, Jackie, at the current time, and this is also something that I'll pass along to our development team, the conflict check cannot be sorted, unfortunately. So for those of you that are maybe not familiar with the conflict check, you do need to be, I apologize, in the people module to run it. And I always forget where it is. There it is under actions, check conflicts. And this is where we would put in the name or details on a person that we want to run a conflict check on. So let's type in Janet Bailey, or just Bailey, check now. And then Amicus will run a conflict check to basically check to see if there are any conflicts. So basically, Amicus will run through the entire database and see if there's anything that has Bailey in it, and flag it as a potential source of conflict. Really, all you can do is you can sort the columns by ascending descending order, but there is no additional functionality in terms of customizing this output. All right, and we have time for one more question here from Greg. What is the best way to manage calls? So phone calls, of course, if your firm is like 99.9% of other firms out there, managing phone calls with clients, and not just clients, but really anyone in particular or in general, is a major difficulty or challenge. To that end, Amicus tries to make things as easy as possible. I'm going to use an existing contact. We'll use Janet Bailey here as an existing contact. If I open up Janet's contact card or contact, you'll notice, of course, that we have Janet's business card. This business card, of course, will also be visible or easily accessible to me on any of Janet's files. On the business card itself, there is the option to create a phone call record for this client. There's a little phone icon there. A little bit old school if you ask me, but if I click on that, from here the phone call details window will open, and Amicus is trying to make it as useful and as easy as it can to log information on our phone call. So of course, because I clicked on the phone call icon on Janet's profile, it assumes that I am going to be calling her, or if I'm going to receive a call from her, I can change it to that. Amicus has already put in Janet's file, so there is going to be a record of this phone call on Janet's Bailey Rekipling file. There is Janet's primary phone number, but I can change that if I'm calling her cell, for example. Unfortunately, Amicus is not going to dial the phone for me. That is something that our developers are certainly keenly aware of, that a lot of our users do want this functionality, and it's something that they are working on. So at the moment, I do have to call, and of course, Amicus is not listening in on my phone calls, so I'm going to have to type my notes. I can make my notes, of course, as general or as detailed as I wish. One of the most immediate benefits of logging phone calls with your clients is the ability to retrieve this information in the form of the call history. So while I'm speaking on the phone with Janet, I can click on call history and bring up all of my previous phone calls with Janet. And indeed, there is one from March 26th where I use this this example in a lot of my trainings where we pretty much talked about the same thing. So I can go back and revisit all of my previous phone calls with Janet. Click OK, and as I said, a record of this phone call will be stored not just on Janet's contact in the communications area where we have all of our previous phone calls, but if I open up Janet's file, we will also be able to find that information in the communications tab, right? There is that phone call that we had with Janet just a few moments ago, right? And of course, everyone has access to this information. So anyone that's working on the Bailey Rekipling file can come into communications, and under all calls and messages, we'll be able to see all of the phone calls that anyone in your firm has had with anyone else in regards to this file. Last quick question, just because I know it's an easy one. Billing reports and Excel or exporting to Excel. Yes, there has been quite a bit of feedback with regards on how to improve those. Unfortunately, Jackie, I can't make any claims or guarantees at this point. But yes, our developers are aware that sometimes, depending on what type of report you're exporting, it doesn't necessarily match nicely in Excel in terms of the columns and how they match up. But do keep tuned, and hopefully we'll have some more information for you later on down the road. All right, and with that, we're going to wrap things up today. A quick note for those of you that are maybe not aware, we do have a major event on the horizon, Abacus Maximus. It's a conference that we will be holding in beautiful Las Vegas in July. And there you're going to be able to basically experience 2 full days of keynote speakers, trainings, and breakout tracks. We're also going to have exhibitor hall that's going to be packed with great offerings. This session is going to be or will allow you to claim CPE or CLE credits. And of course, this is all happening on July 9th to 11th. And you can head over to abacusmaximus.com if you're looking for more information. Right, and here is the website. So by all means, head on over and you'll see who the keynote speakers are, or some of the keynote speakers, some of the intended training topics, etc. As well, just a quick reminder, you can at any point schedule training for yourself or your team simply by going to abacusnext.com, selecting more, and schedule training and upgrades. From here, it's simply a matter of choosing the product that you're looking for training on. In this case, we already have Amicus Attorney, and then booking either a 1-hour or a 2-hour training session. These training sessions are interactive, which means that you are in constant communication with your assigned trainer. And that way we can make those training sessions dynamic and more of a consultation. And there are some examples of topics that you can, of course, book for, or if you just want to have more of an informal Q&A session, much as we did today, you can certainly book an hour of that, where all of your teammates will hopefully come to the training with a long list of questions, and your trainer can basically work you through them. That wraps up today's webinar. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope you found this session informative and useful. If you have any questions about this webinar or need information on future webinars, please visit www.abacusnext.com/webinars. And as I said, in addition to those webinars, we also offer training, which you can also schedule via our website. And of course, you can always visit abacusnext.com/support for more information on support needs. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. I do know there were a couple of questions that unfortunately because of time we weren't able to address, but we will be addressing these within the next couple of days via email. And of course, a recording of this webinar will be available on our website, and that website again is abacusnext.com/webinars. Again, thank you very much everyone for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.